The experience I had this past week on my medical missions trip to El Serrano, Nicaragua, can never fully be shared or communicated, even with the hundreds of pictures I took or the many stories I could tell. However, I must at least share a taste of the most eye-opening experience of my life in a way you will hopefully enjoy and be able to take something from. The setting of our clinic was a small village named El Serrano, 8 hours from the nation's capital. From the nearest town with a motel, we commuted over an hour each day on an unpaved road into the mountains where we served the El Serrano people, untouched by the luxury of modern medicine and technology. The scenery as we rode across the country showed the devastation in a land rid by war only 20 years earlier. At the clinic, I served at the eyeglasses station by fitting patients for reading glasses, and at the pharmacy by filling prescriptions and counseling patients under the direction of our pharmacist, Evan. During the 4 days we were at clinic, we saw close to 1,000 patients. I had the honor of praying over many and leading a few to Christ while I was working with patients one-on-one at the eyeglasses station. It was so encouraging to see the love and passion for Christ that so many of the Nicaraguan people already had. When I asked existing believers to tell me about their relationship with Jesus Christ, I could see their face light up, and I would hear about how God was working in their lives, especially amidst obvious hardships. I was able to visit with the pastors of the local church and hear about their passion for leading their community to Christ despite their lack of substantial resources. Also, the love among the children was undeniable. Young children cared for each other and watched out for one another in a way I've never seen before. There was no crying or complaining, and the kids were so friendly and full of joy. They stole my heart. The Nicaraguan people didn't have money, adequate shelter, opportunity, or even their health. With the absence of the clutter surrounding the lives of so many within the United States, the people of Nicaragua only had each other, and that was enough. Even when there were no higher-powered reading glasses I could offer the older patients, or when there was no way I could help teenagers who needed prescription eyeglasses for school, they were grateful. I received handshakes, hugs, and kisses as they thanked me and told me to please return to their village another time. I wish I could say that my experience was solely uplifting, but that would be a lie and a terrible injustice to those whose stories need to be told. As I said, there was a limit on the relief we could bring as a short-term medical missions team. There were so many I had to apologize to and explain there was nothing more I could do for them. Medical care so easily accessible in the United States will never be experienced by the people of El Serrano. Their living conditions and quality of life in comparison to all I had ever known in the United States leaves me feeling bitter towards our culture and all the luxuries we take for granted. It reminds me how undeserving I really am of any of God's blessings in my life. What affected me most were those who did not want to surrender their life to Christ, even after I shared with them the gospel and explained their need for a Savior. The issue of machismo and the dominance of the man within the home was a cultural obstacle that many women faced who wanted to accept Jesus. But I realized that the lack of faith, desire for control of one's own life, and the feeling of unworthiness that repeatedly kept most unbelievers separated from God in Nicaragua are the same reasons so many choose to turn their backs on God within the United States. It was even harder to explain to those who said they already knew Jesus that mere understanding and knowledge about Jesus doesn't constitute salvation. Choosing to surrender your life to God and allow Him to constantly mold you into His image isn't accomplished by a part-time dependence on God. Although my heart breaks for those who decided not to accept Jesus, seeds, however small, have been planted, and I have faith that God will grow them. I went to Nicaragua to learn about the culture, be the hands and the feet of the Lord, and experience working in a non-traditional healthcare setting. From this trip, I was able to witness the physical and spiritual needs of the Nicaraguan people in a way unparalleled to any educational video or textbook excerpt. It is no secret that millions across the world, even within the United States, suffer from these same struggles of physical illness and spiritual darkness without hope. So where does that leave me? Luke 12:48 says, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." God has blessed me with opportunity, intelligence, health, and financial stability. To say I feel obligated to serve others would be wrong. Instead, I feel called, chosen, and honored to serve others in whatever way God allows.